What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we're actually doing a reaction video of how to make money using ChatGPT, and each one of these business ideas are very interesting, so make sure you guys stick to the end of the video, and I'm going to give you guys my 2 cents, how easy I think it is to actually start these businesses, and the potential money and results that you guys can make over time. So without any further ado, be sure to subscribe down below, and let's get right into the video.
ChatGPT, OpenAI, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion are just some of the cutting-edge AI technologies that we're starting to see pop up. You've probably heard about all of these platforms already, and that's because people are already making a profit on AI. And I have a feeling that this is going to be a much larger opportunity than the whole crypto NFT phase that we just went through.
Now, what he said there is something that I think is actually true. Like you see with crypto and everything like that, and how it just goes up and down, just crashes. There's a whole bunch of terrible coins that people invest in. But with AI, it actually provides a legitimate solution to a lot of different things, especially within the job market, which is going to make businesses a ton of money.
That's because anybody can access these tools in a matter of minutes. And it's not going to be long before AI is writing entire NFT and crypto projects just from a single prompt. It'll be generating videos using recreated voices, highly sophisticated 3D renders, and even deepfakes, or making entire playable games off of a single prompt. It's not quite there yet, but people are making a profit on AI today. Getting in early and learning the basics is the best thing that we can do right now if we want to take advantage of this new industry.
So for a quick explanation of what ChatGPT is and Midjourney is, they're basically 2 AI tools that you guys can use where you can be like, hey, write me a book about this or write up an essay about this, and it can do it relatively quickly. Now, Midjourney is very similar. It's an AI, but it's specifically for images, for image generation. You can be like, hey, create an image of a kid playing on a playground or something like that, and it'll be able to generate that very quickly.
And essentially, we're just going to be working with it, and you can type the prompt at the bottom, and once you hit enter, in real time, it'll write out its answer for you. Now, we could use ChatGPT to write us an entire book. The book industry is one of the biggest industries to be in, and we could have ChatGPT probably write us an entire story. But I think that that would take quite a while, especially considering you'd have to sit there and read the entire book and edit it and make sure that it's not copywritten or anything like that. But what about a children's book? I think that this, because it's short and sweet, is a much better opportunity, and we can use Midjourney to create all of the images for it, so it's a complete product. So let me show you an example that I thought of that we could potentially use to make some money. In my ChatGPT, all I'm going to do is write out the prompt, and you can see I've just written, write me a children's book about the alphabet where each letter is an animal. And so I'm going to hit submit, and in real time, you'll see it's going to think about it for a second, and then hopefully it'll spit us out an answer. But the really unique and what I think is the coolest feature about ChatGPT is you can talk with it and you can tell it to.
That's another thing too. Like with this tool, you can be specific, like very specific on what you want, line per line. And if you wanted to text up something, be like, hey, create a short story about a kid riding a dinosaur in the desert, while he has, a camel that he's walking, or he has a donkey with him. Like, you can be insanely specific with it, and it'll incorporate all the different types of scenes or different features that you want added to that story.
And so while this is writing out, let's see if we can get some images out of it. So all of that was done in ChatGPT, but now let's hop over to Midjourney to see if we can generate some images.
So you guys can see here how quickly he was able to generate just multiple chapters, multiple lines of a children's book. And you can do this within like 5 minutes, you guys, and it's pretty insane. Now, the next thing that he's going to be talking about in this video is Midjourney, right? So the AI tool that I was talking about earlier that you can use to generate images.
Website and sign up, and you'll need a Discord account to use the chat. It is free to use Midjourney, and you can download Discord and practice before you pay anything. So in our Midjourney, I'm going to put a cute baby penguin because I think that'll do better for our story. And then we're just going to do a comma and a cartoon version. So I just put a comma and then write cartoon, and when I hit enter, it's going to start generating that image, and it should take about a minute. So from here, we absolutely have some usable options. These are super cute. And then if we wanted to upscale one, we can.
That's pretty insane on how quickly you're able to generate these images. Like if you were a sort of digital artist and you tried to create something that was similar to this, it would take you a very long time, and you would have to have a lot of different Photoshop skills and designing skills, but this tool can do it within 5 seconds. And it's actually extremely easy for you guys to sign up. Just like he said, you would have to go to the Discord and then you can start generating some images. So all you would have to do is take this prompt right here. So you want to go ahead and copy that, And then once you're in their Discord, you just go to one of these newbie servers here and you just paste it and then space. And then you can type up anything, right? So if you guys were creating a children's book about Thomas the Train or something like that, you can be like Thomas the Train on a sunny day. Now I feel like if I type this up, it's going to give me either one of two things. Either it's going to be a very cool image or it's going to be a very creepy image. So we're going to go ahead and wait and see how it turns out. And then bam, there we have it. We have some amazing pictures of Thomas the Train. And the cool thing that I like about it is just the amount of detail and saturation and colors that are in these images. Like this tool is able to generate all these different things within 30 seconds, like detailed background, like it's not blurry or anything.
And just pick one of the penguins, and this is number one. So top left is going to be number one, then number two, number three, and number four. So if we wanted to upscale, let's say number two, we would just hit U2, and that's going to go ahead and upscale number two. And so right here, you can see it finally finished upscaling this one, and this is a much higher resolution image of the same penguin that we could use for our Amazon KDP or our ebook. This is another example of an image that I generated. It was just a cute baby panda in a bamboo forest, and this would be a great one for a panda. And so you can play around and get a bunch of different styles depending on what style your book is going for. So if you want more of a kind of hand-drawn cartoony feel, you could absolutely do that. If you want a realistic kind of cute cartoony render feel, like this is honestly really, really good. Then what we would have to do is we would have to just take these, put them in a creative font on top of our image, and basically you have a book done. So then I can go back into ChatGPT and I can ask it to give me a title, tags, and SEO field description for the book.
That's another really cool thing about ChatGPT as well, is like if you wanted it to figure out what type of SEO or keywords that you want to be using within a title for a book, or maybe you're trying to create an article, it's going to be able to do that for you because it takes all the different information that it has about that specific topic and then it gives it to you.
See right here. So it gives me a title, the animal alphabet, a fun and funny ABC book for the kids. Then it gives me some tags, and then right here it's literally printing out a description that I could use in the product listing. So this basically takes all of the work out of having to...
So as you guys can see, creating these types of children's books is very simple and easy to do. And the thing about this is that there's a huge market for it, right? Like if you go on Amazon, you guys can see that there are a ton of like very simple ones that people are purchasing. So like this one right here is $11.27. It has a very simple title, very simple cover right here, and it has 4,800 ratings. So usually within 10 orders of something, you'll get about one review. So it's probably safe to say that this book has been ordered over 48,000 times. So the creator of this book has probably, on a conservative amount, has made around $400,000 to $500,000 just by selling this on Amazon. And you can create these types of books all within ChatGPT, creating images and stuff like that using Midjourney. So this is definitely a type of business or side hustle that you guys can do utilizing ChatGPT and AI in 2023. But the only problem about this in terms of how you guys would be able to make money is getting your book out there, right? Like of course you can create the most amazing children's book in the world, but if you guys aren't able to market it or make people actually want to buy it, then it's simply not going to matter. So at the end of the day, this first business that he's talking about of creating children's books is a very viable and amazing business model. But the main thing that you guys would have to worry about in terms of making money is figuring out how you can market your book and make that money. So let's go on to the second method.
Digital products and print on demand are what I'm most familiar with, and it's where I've made most of my money. So I want to show you a shop that's selling about $400,000 worth of digital products a year, and how you could use AI to get a very similar result. Okay, now for this one, it's an Etsy shop, and it's called North Prints. And you can see they've done almost 260,000 sales. If we assume that they've done $3 for 260,000, well, let's calculate that out. We'll just put the amount of sales in, and we will multiply that by $3, and you can see that that is about $780,000. But if we visit their page and we come all the way down to the bottom, you can see that they've been on Etsy since about 2020, and they actually got their first review on August 12th of 2020.
So as you guys can see for this method, he's talking about selling digital products online. And the cool thing about this, when you're selling these types of products on Etsy, you don't even have to worry about trying to advertise to a bunch of people on other platforms like Facebook or Google, because the marketplace is already there. So you're going to be able to get organic and paid traffic relatively easy. So you guys can see here, these types of stores get tons and tons of sales. All you guys have to do is find a digital product or generate one that'll make people want to buy it.
So they've been selling their digital products online since August 12th of 2020. So they've done that amount of revenue in about 2 years and 5 months. But some of their best-selling products go for $8, $9, and $10 each, which leads me to believe that this shop has done well over $1 million in that same time frame. But the thing that really caught my eye about this shop is the artwork. So if we take a look at a painting like this, for example, you can see it's just a neutral landscape drawing wall art, and it's a digital download.
Another thing I wanted to mention too is like you guys see the pricing for these digital products, like they're only a couple of dollars. And they're able to do that because they're not paying anybody to create them for them. They're actually going out there and creating these images very easily. And on top of this, you don't have to ship this out to anybody, right? It's a digital download. So you're not even paying for any shipping costs. You're not paying for any cost of goods. So you can set that price super low and it's completely profit. That's why so many people are crazy about doing, Etsy stores and stuff like that, print on demands, because there's a lot better profit margins.
Digital downloads also mean that it's almost a 100% profit margin minus the Etsy fees. So you can see it's just a fairly standard sketch of just some bushes and a tree. So naturally, I jumped into Midjourney to see if I could create something similar. And as you can see right here, I just put in a vintage neutral winter tree sketch. And honestly, this came out pretty good. This is just a super high quality, high resolution version of a sketched tree, and this is just the Midjourney interpretation. In my opinion, this is a super comparable image to what that shop North Prince was selling. And this entire image was generated in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's really crazy the amount of detail that Midjourney can generate with images. If you were to go on here, I was playing around with it earlier. Let's say we wanted to create a very cool digital art just like that, right? So we wanted a beautiful tree in the Sahara Desert all alone. And I can be that specific with it and it'll give me a really good result. And then bam, like you guys can see here, these images almost look real, like they're photos, literally photos from the Sahara. And this was generated within 30 seconds, you guys. That is the power of this tool. And it took into consideration all the specific details that I wanted to be added to this photo. And you can take these same images and put them up on Etsy and have them sold as digital prints that people can download. But if you guys do want to be doing that, it's okay to play around with it on their free plan or whatever. But if you want to be using these images to sell them to other people, you do have to sign up for their subscription.
Putting in this prompt and upscaling it, and then upscaling it to the beta size so that it's big enough to sell online. Now, I really have no way of knowing if these images are AI art or not, but it's very possible that they are. But even if this shop isn't selling AI art, we can get very similar results using Midjourney. Here are some more examples of some pieces of art that I created in Midjourney that only took a few minutes each. And after upscaling them to the beta size, they still maintained all their quality and they look excellent. There's honestly so much that you could do here. The real limit is just your imagination on what you can create. Again, if I pull this image up, you can see super high quality, a ton of detail, and they've even gotten
Crazy. Look at this. It almost looks like an oil painting, dude. I don't know. This is kind of scary, you guys. Like, thinking about this type of thing, the amount of creativity, legitimate creativity of a person is kind of going out the window. Like, are we even going to have artists within the next couple of years? Is everything just going to be AI generated? Even music? Like, there's going to be AI celebrities and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of different questions that I do have. And this is just the beginning, which is pretty crazy. So,
all of the reflection in the water. Like, this is a great print and you could probably sell this on Etsy. We could still utilize ChatGPT and we could ask it for a title, description, and SEO tags for our image. And you can see in real time, it's going to print that out for us. And then we can use these details as our listing details wherever we're selling it online. You can see it just finished up. We have a full description and title and tags that we could use in our listing. Now,
so if you guys were to go on Etsy and look up digital downloads. You guys can see that there are a handful of different niches of things that people can download or purchase. 600 digital product ideas to create and sell. This one has 3,200 sales and it's selling for around $4. So they've made over $10,000 with this. This is something that can actually be generated within Midjourney. So I'm very curious to see how well it does with this image compared to what's on Etsy. So we're gonna see. And then bam, we have the painting. Now these images aren't as detailed as the one on Etsy, but I know for a fact that you guys will be able to create ones very similar to this and sell them on here. Like look at this one right here, surreal woman art AI generated. So if we were to click on that, this one has 1,300 sales and they're selling for $56. That's pretty insane. So this listing alone has made over $50,000. And you guys can see here, you can go through these different images. I think that this might be a print-on-demand store, and they're just going on. All this can be generated within Midjourney within 30 seconds, you guys. That's pretty insane. So what they're doing here is canvas print-on-demand, and this is going to be different, but it's very similar in the fact that these were actually images that were generated using Midjourney and simply taking them and using a app like Printify in order to place them on a canvas. That way, if a customer places an order on this shop, they simply just have to go to their Shopify store, create an order, and Printify will automatically send that canvas out.
That's all great, but maybe you don't want to make a nearly 100% profit margin and you do want to sell print-on-demand products. Well, you could do that as well. You could sell these same images on products like posters, canvases, phone cases, mugs, or pretty much anything you can find on Printify. So for example, if we come to Printify and we take a look at their catalog, we're going to scroll down and find the home and living section. And from here we can choose posters. And let's create a vertical poster. And we just hit start designing. I'm just going to choose that tree file that we have already created in Midjourney. I just downloaded it off of the web. And you can see, honestly, that looks pretty great. And so if we check the preview, you can see right here, like we have this image that we just created in Midjourney, and we already have a bunch of mock-ups. It looks wonderful, and I don't see any
That's another thing too. When you're using a tool like Printify, all these different images that you guys are seeing on Etsy, like these aren't created by the seller. These are all professional images that they're going to be able to provide to you, and they just simply place that photo that you created onto it. So that's another thing that makes doing this, like digital download, selling on Etsy, utilizing ChatGPT and Midjourney, it makes it extremely easy to start. Like you literally need no startup capital whatsoever.
Reason why an image like this wouldn't sell online. And again, just for the comparison, ours obviously is a different color tone, but there isn't much difference between these two images. So there you go.
So you guys can see here some other cool designs that I generated within Midjourney. And if you go through here, you can see all the other images that people are creating as well. Like this one right here, looks like an actual person, looks like a photo, an actual photo of somebody from the 1930s. The amount of detail that you can describe and have them put into your photos is pretty insane. Like it's unheard of.
By yourself, you can upload it to platforms like Redbubble, Society6, Teespring, and let them do all of the marketing for you, and you'll just sit back and collect all the sales. Now, the barrier to entry for coding has dropped literally down to your ankles. I was inspired because I just watched this video by Ben Bonk, where he essentially creates an entire video game through ChatGPT. He uses ChatGPT to make an entire playable game with real game mechanics. It lets him control his little player square, which even has a little attached weapon that shoots projectiles. There's enemy cubes, and it was all done in ChatGPT. When he goes about developing the game, the chatbot explains exactly how to implement everything, and it's like a step-by-step guide specifically for what he's trying to create. It's super cool, and I'd highly recommend watching his video. I'll leave a link down in the description. But how could we make money from this? Besides things like Fiverr gigs, which I think is kind of the obvious answer, we could make a lot of money by coding different programs or games. But I wanted to put this to the test.
This is actually extremely true, and I'm probably going to create a video on this specifically, but people are making a ton of money, and people are going to be making a lot of money from being a prompt engineer. So somebody that knows a little bit of coding or someone that knows how to prompt AI in order to get the desired results that a company wants. And you guys can see here, if you go on Upwork, people are freelancing these types of jobs. Like this person right here has already made $100,000 doing something like this as an AI prompt engineer. charging $60 an hour. And I've looked through a lot of these, and it looks like people are charging anywhere from $30 to $60 an hour to be one. And I know what you guys are thinking. Well, why would a company need somebody to type up prompts when they can do it themselves? Well, you have to think too, like we can use ChatGPT to create coding for all types of different programs, games like he just mentioned. And in order to get a desired result for some of these AI tools, you have to be very specific and tell the AI exactly what you want.
For myself, so I asked the ChatGPT to see if it could code a game specifically for me. So before I show you that, just to know that I have no game coding experience whatsoever and I am a complete noob, but I do have Python installed on my computer, and so I do know how to at least copy and paste the code and get it to run. But besides games, eventually I bet you'll be able to use ChatGPT to create entire iPhone apps, chatbots.
Another thing I did as well is go on Google and look up prompt engineer wages. You guys see that you'd be making anywhere from $250,000 to $335,000 a year. Like you'd literally be a doctor. So if this is something that interests you guys, I do recommend that you take classes on it, you buy programs on it, you learn as much as you can about AI. And that way, when companies are looking for more jobs to fill in, you're going to be already ready for this.
And various software that you could implement with websites. Overall, a bunch of utility across the web, and it's really limited to your creativity. But we are going to see if we can get this to work. So, okay, we're going to see if this works. Before my eyes, dude, this is insane. I'm going to speed this part up. I was basically really impressed with how fast it was coding the entire game from scratch and giving me detailed instructions on how to build it. Okay, so I am in a VS Code, which is I believe where I need to put the.
Now, the only problem with this is like if you were to try to apply for a company and be like, hey, I know I have really good coding skills, and you just try to use ChatGPT to create all types of different coding, you guys have to understand there's tools out there that people can use to see if the coding that you have or like the text or like an essay you're writing up is made by an AI. So you guys do have to be careful about this, especially if you're trying to publish something that is unique or what you claim as your own.
This, and I've created the pong.py, which I think is right. We are going to copy and paste the code and see if this works. So I'm going to copy the code, come right in here and paste it, and it looks like everything's working. So we are going to save, and here goes the moment of truth, dude. Oh my gosh. Okay, this came up on my other screen. Okay, it doesn't really work, but it did start. So let me see. Wait, let me try it one more time. See, this is where it starts, but then I don't know how to move it. So we need to ask it for controls, and the ball is extremely slow. All right, so let's kill it, and let's see if I can make the ball go faster. I tried adding a reset button and faster ball movement, but I didn't end up finishing that, and in total, I only spent about 13 minutes on the game.
That is pretty awesome. In terms of creating video games in the future, just think about how much easier it's going to be when you can use an AI tool that can generate all that different code. That way you just don't have to manually type out everything. And take it from me, like I was in computer science when I was in college, and it was a pain. It was very frustrating. If you had one thing that was off in your code, the whole thing would not work. But now we have a AI tool like ChatGPT that's going to be able to figure out errors, type up code within like 5 to 10 seconds, and I think it's going to make a lot of things very easy. But other than that, you guys, those 3 business ideas that we just watched, I think are very feasible, and you can make a lot of money with them over the next couple of months and years. The only problem that I do see with them is that you will have to figure out a way to get yourself out there and figure out, what types of products are selling in terms of digital downloads. You would also need to figure out how you can sell those children's books, how to get your book out there, and also how you guys can learn how to be a prompt engineer by going on Google and looking up different courses and tutorials for when that job rolls around. But all these businesses are very legitimate, so I recommend that you guys check them out. With that being said, if you guys like this video, be sure to subscribe down below. Let me know if you'd like to see these and what we should do next. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.